Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm here on a Sunday night, beautiful day outside. So I decided to do a video out here. Plus, I don't have to have the family, the kids specifically, constantly jumping on me. So I'm able to talk to you guys. So I hope everybody's doing well. What I want to do tonight is just do some product research. I get a lot of questions about, what do I specifically look for in products. I would like to say this: there are certain types of numbers you're looking for, sure. But if it's just about the cookie cutter method, if I could just enter in certain numbers and then find a product, why couldn't everybody else do that? It's not quite that simple. There's a lot more to finding a good product. Like I said, my biggest criteria, before I go into this, like and subscribe, guys. I'd appreciate that. But as far as, you have to have a good differentiation. But the thing about it is, first, you got to find a product that has decent numbers. There are very, very much similarities between how most people search for products. Some people go up to as high for reviews as high as 500 or even 300. I typically like reviews below 75 or below, but that's very hard to find. I'm going to tell you why. Something that's come up recently: product reviews are flying. They're growing so rapidly right now. I really think a huge part of that is Amazon's really pushing for reviews, but a big part of it, they're asking more than ever on Alexa. So I've been asked multiple times on my Alexa about giving a review for products, and that's where you're going to see a ton of products that don't have anything written. They're shooting up. Like, for example, I literally have gone from under 100 reviews to over 260, 270 reviews in a matter of a month and a half. That's unbelievable, the velocity of those reviews. Now, I sold a lot there too, but the velocity is going so fast now. So a market that you might have looked at a month ago could literally have 100 more reviews per many of the bigger products, and then it no longer looks like a great opportunity. So I would like to think how I'm going to adjust to that is I'm going to raise my reviews a little bit, because reviews are going that much faster. But that also gives you a sense of urgency that if you do find a good market, you have to jump on that really fast. You cannot be slow to do that. If you are, the reviews will shoot up quicker than you realize, and by the time you get your product in, it'll probably be a high competition market according to the numbers that are out there. So there might even be more of an argument to look for ones that are below 75 reviews because of that reason, because it'll grow so fast. But let's look for markets, I would like to say, around 100 or lower. You could even go up to 150 or lower, 125 or lower. It just depends on, it's not the only thing you're looking for. You're not looking just for reviews. But here I am in Opportunity Finder. It's one of my favorite tools. I am still a huge fan of using Jungle Scout for my product research. Now, I do prefer, especially Cerebro, I've mentioned that multiple times, for keyword research. I love the tools that Helium has. I do use the Helium extension, but I'm not a huge fan of it, to be quite honest. I don't know, I guess I'm just not used to it. I very much like the Jungle Scout one, but I do typically use them both because I also want to get search volume and I want to see how the numbers compare from one to the other. So I tend to use both tools. I am just getting used to Helium, but I've already found a lot of great uses for it. And I can understand why a lot of people prefer that over Jungle Scout. But for product research, I am a big Jungle Scout fan, and I think I'm going to remain a Jungle Scout fan. So at any rate, let's get right to it. So I'm going to pick some of the categories that I tend to like. There's a lot of them. I'll go home and kitchen, tools and improvement, sports and outdoors, although it's becoming the end of the year, you probably want to kind of stay away from that, depending on what you find. Kitchen and dining, industrial and scientific, arts and crafts, maybe even baby. But that's really too many. So these are kind of some of the hotter categories I tend to look at. Electronics I tend to stay away from. We kind of talked about that in previous videos. But so search volume. What am I really looking for? Or excuse me, units sold. Typically I like to see at least 250. Preferably even more. Maybe 300 or more. But at least, very least 250. I would like to see a little bit more than that, to be quite honest. Like I said, preferably around 300. The average price. Now, I'm a person that believes in bigger items. I typically go from 25 or 30 to higher, but for the purposes of this video, let's keep it around 20 to let's say 65. But for me, I like to go bigger. I like to go 25, 30 and up, all the way up to 100, 200 bucks. So competition, again, we kind of talked about that. It can change so fast now. I found some great products in medium to very low. So we'll keep the competition around there. You can break into medium competition markets and even high competition markets if you differentiate right. Niche score. I was always a big fan of niche score. I tend to like them higher. However, what I've noticed in my product research is that when I only do 7, 8, 9, 10 niche, it tends to limit me very much so for what products I can find. And I tend to find the same things over and over again. Niche is a neat tool, but it doesn't tell you everything. So I tend to keep that around 5 to 10. That gives a little more leeway there, or even 4. But niche isn't always the most important thing. You have to just kind of take it as it comes. Sometimes you can find good things that are not considered a great niche score. So don't always rely on that. Monthly search volume. So, if you do find something that has a massive search volume, in my opinion, what ends up happening with that is there's so much competition usually in those higher search volume markets. Now, the thing about it is there's so many different types of search terms for so many different types of products. So, if I have this Gatorade bottle here, and it's a purple Gatorade bottle, so maybe it's purple Gatorade, and maybe it's purple Gatorade Zero, and there's probably 100 different ways you could search for that bottle. And that's the case with pretty much all products. So, it's hard to find that right term. There is no right term. You want to find enough terms that have, I would say, at least 500 to 1,500 search volume. Find those terms that you can break into that have low giveaways that you could rank for and make some decent sales. At very minimum, I'm on a 500 search. I tend to like around 1,000, maybe even all the way up to 2,000. But usually, when you start getting that high, it usually becomes very competitive. Again, depending on the market, and it varies greatly. So, what I would say is at least, I'm going to say about 600. I'd like to see at least that much, 500 to 600 search term wise. But again, those are still very low terms. I mean, you can make sales in those areas. I would like to see ones that are 1,000 or more to make sales, but not too high, because usually the giveaway amount, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about Cerebro. When you pull up how many giveaways you're supposed to have, or how many sales you're supposed to have to reach that keyword, it's like astronomical for some of the ones that are 3,000, 4,000, so, or 10,000. Forget about it. So let's use these key search terms to kind of search. It doesn't have to be exactly this. I could change the niche. I could change to up or down on the competition a little bit. But this is a general idea. When people ask me the numbers, I also like to see around 10,000 revenue. I like to see, like I said, at least 250, typically more, maybe 300 sales a month. If it's a bigger item, I'm not that upset about it being lower number of sales per month, because you're making less sales. Maybe you're making only 5 sales a day, but maybe you're making $50 a sale. That changes everything. That means the revenue is going to be higher. So if you're going to look for a bigger item, like I tend to like, then you're going to want to not pay as much attention to how many sales per month. Then I would look more towards the revenue and your return on investment. Okay, so depends on what type of, literally what size you'd be looking for too. So I also, during this time with COVID, I would type in words to exclude, like mask, sanitizer, and I would get rid of other items like anything related to COVID, N95, masks. So anything that's going to be kind of related to COVID, so we don't get those results in there. You could obviously put brands like Nike if you were looking in like apparel, but we're not looking at apparel, or Under Armour, stuff like that. So point being, put the words that are being used excessively right now. We'll just stick with those for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and search. Now, because I chose a lot of categories, it's probably going to be too many search results. Yeah, 3,733 search results. Niche score, I do tend to like a higher niche. However, it doesn't really matter.
it doesn't matter what your niche score is. Truly, I've found great products that say they're a bad niche or that are good niche. I at first tend to look more for higher niche products, but truthfully, there's great products anywhere in niches. So let's just do this. Let's just get rid of niche for now. But I'm kind of curious to look at this. So what I tend to search for is by search volume. I like to see what's being searched for the most. Obviously, I'm not going to mess with something that has 50,000 search volume, or even average monthly units sold. That might not be bad either. But yeah, you can just kind of look through here and see what you can find. I mean, obviously, we're not going to sell Kobe Bryant. This is all brand name stuff. Little peeps. So if we just kind of search through here, wood crate. Huh. It's funny because I think this was something that they were looking at on Helium in like a case study coffin shelf, if I'm not mistaken. It's just funny that that's in there. You can already see some Christmas stuff popping up now. And, you know, stuff like this, like a shower curtain, I tend to stay away from that. And why? Because, you know, that's like home items you can go into any store and buy, right? You can go to Walmart, you can go Kmart if it even exists anymore. You can go to any major retailer, Macy's, and you can buy a shower curtain. It's really hard to compete with that. You want to kind of find something that you couldn't readily go into a store and purchase. And that's kind of one of the things I also look for when I'm doing product research. Something that's kind of like not sold in too many stores, if any, kind of off the wall. So dough bowl, let's look that up and see. Okay, I think I've looked this up before. I have. I don't know why. It's not really easy to differentiate. You can see the reviews are really low for this search term. Just by looking, let's take a look at Jungle Scout. So, let's see here. Let's take a look at dough bowl. Okay, so dough bowl. Let's take a look at the numbers here. Alright. So right away, it says medium demand, medium competition. I don't really pay too much attention to this, honestly, because you have to look at the products. Because sometimes, like, if you're looking at this, it'll be completely something unrelated. It won't have anything to do with it. So you got to kind of take that into account. Let's see. Like, any of this stuff. Like, somebody asked me about, like, average reviews. Like, it means nothing. Because this is average of this page, which is made up of stuff that might have nothing to do with your product. So keep that in mind. So this doesn't really mean anything. So what I'm kind of looking at here, this guy has 58 reviews. He's selling a wood dough bowl, which I'm not even entirely sure what's considered a dough bowl. I mean, is it used for literally dough? 89 reviews, 145. So not a ton. They're doing 3 or 4 sales a day. Nothing crazy. 2 pieces of dough scraper. So that's not even necessarily the same thing. That's like a dough scraper. And it's a very cheap item. So, like, would you consider this a dough bowl? Like, no, I wouldn't. Doesn't mean they're not using that search term. My point is, that's not necessarily a dough bowl. The question is, what in the world, I guess, what exactly is a dough bowl? It's just the way it's made. It must be this type of shape. That's the only thing I can think of. Frequently bought together. Let's check that out. Natural green moss decorative ball. Huh. Okay. So it's like a decoration. It's a type of bowl. It looks like it's like a long, shallow, oval type of bowl. There must be certain criteria to make it officially a dough bowl. I don't know where it got its name. Maybe they actually used it to make dough, like bread. I'm thinking maybe. I'm just guessing. Let me see. Got like harp-shaped bowls. So yeah, but you know, it doesn't. Okay, 14 ratings. It's kind of a neat looking bowl. I mean, probably more for decoration than anything. It's listings. One picture. Wow. That's horrible. I mean, it's not a bad picture. It's just not. There's nothing to it. So, white dough bowl. I guess people have different colors. It would be a hard product to differentiate in some ways, but if you just made a better listing and just had a better looking dough bowl, like this is a unique. They're all kind of unique in their own way. So there, they actually have bread in it there. Very cool. So I put it out like for a cookout or whatnot, or on a dinner table. I see. So it's just like a bread bowl. I mean, kind of. It's very neat, actually. I kind of like how that looks. Let's see what they're doing sales-wise. So they're doing 10 sales a day. They're doing really well. They have a ton of reviews, though. 340. But yeah, you know, I think the differentiator here, it's going to be how your bowl looks, of course, the size of it, and what your price is. You're going to have a really nice optimized listing. And you can see the ones that are successful, of course, have a lot of reviews because they've been selling. That makes sense. So, you know, it'd be a tough one to differentiate for me. It's not really my style of product. Maybe you come up with a unique type of design, but the numbers aren't great here anyway. Like, the demand is just not there. So I'm not entirely impressed. Of course, that was just for that item. If we look up under this, yeah, I mean, there's some people doing okay. Like we talked about that one. It's not really what we're looking for. There's really not a lot of revenue here. There's not a ton of sales. Monthly sales, there's only a couple people doing okay. I'm not really all that impressed. Reviews aren't astronomically high, but sales aren't astronomically high either. I mean, the only ones that are doing pretty decent, they've been around for a while, but yeah, so this wouldn't be a great product to sell, but this is kind of, you have to go through and do the work. You have to go through and try to find something. And like, you wouldn't want to find anything that's what I mean about this category right now, like kayak anchor. Like, how many more months are people going to be kayaking? Now, if you're in Florida or something like that, or somewhere where you can kayak year round, but how many across the country, it's going to hurt your sales. So that's something to consider. Get naked bath mat. Let's not look at that one. So we're not looking for anything necessarily seasonal unless we're looking for something. You know what I did see last year that did great, where there were signs, like fall signs you would hang up at your front door. They did gangbusters last year when fall came around. So if you think about stuff like that, now would be the time to literally get them made and brought in. You could probably do really well. I saw people running out of stock and everything else. Moon shelf. I wonder if that's just a shelf shaped like a moon. Let's check it out. Yeah, it really just is. It's just a shelf that looks like a moon, really. Kind of neat if you're into moons or whatnot. There's the coffin shelf. Great for Halloween. Perfect time to do it this time of year. You could even, you know, that even looks kind of spooky. You could do kind of a moon theme for Halloween. Put some Halloween stuff in it for Halloween pictures for that time of the year, and then other times of the year you could just do normal, switch the picture up, you know. So you could actually kind of make your product more of a seasonal product that way by using the pictures. Because I can see there being like some pumpkins and decorations and stuff like that in there. The black cat, make it more of a based off of you know, Halloween, like they're doing. You know, they know it's coming up, so they've put it in there like that to kind of market themselves. I've seen that before. It used to have good numbers. So moon shelf. Now, obviously, there's stuff in here that's not related, but let's check it out. So numbers-wise, medium demand, low competition. Again, I don't just go by that. Reviews are low, very, very low. I mean, extremely low. That has nothing to do with, that's like a magical book. So we'll just get rid of that. That's what I mean. There's stuff in here that has nothing to do with your listing. And these are like These really aren't wood signs, they're like triangles. So there's definitely stuff that's not related. It doesn't mean they're not using that keyword to rank. So there's not a ton of competitors here. 87 reviews doing 5 sales a day at $29, netting $19.93. So they only have 2 and they're only doing 1 sale. They have 5 reviews, they're doing 4 sales. That's not bad. I mean, at 35 bucks, they're doing 6 sales a day with no reviews. That's pretty decent, actually. Especially to start. Now the demand's not astronomical here, but the competition is so low. There's probably not a high search market. Like, that's pretty neat, but that's $100. So let's scroll down. That's $100 shelf. Just 1 review. It doesn't look like they're selling any. Might be for sale by merchant. Okay, so yeah, these have nothing to do with. I mean, when we get rid of some of this stuff, it might even change the outlook of the whole market. And this is a wall-hanging rope shelf. I don't know why they're trying to rank for moon shelf. Probably easy to rank for. So at any rate, it is really easy. I'd say fairly easy to break into this market. There's really not much competition at all. I'm betting the search volume though is so low for this. It's just a guess. Because there's just nothing in there, but you really don't have anybody to compete with either. Alright, so actually, wow, moon shelf. The search volume is way higher than I expected. That's really, really astronomical for. It really is. I'm very, very much surprised. Go figure. So, you know, from what I'm seeing, here's the thing. Like, I don't really like Jungle Scout is saying it's medium competition or medium demand, low competition. You could make a shelf here. I mean, this guy's selling, you know, 30 bucks. It's a black shelf. There's nothing special about this shelf, and he's selling 6 a day. Now, he probably is organically ranked here. I don't think that was sponsored, was it? Yeah, it was sponsored. He's sponsored here, so who knows how much he's spending. But it doesn't look like it's a horribly hard search term to get ranked for. See, he's right here. He's organically ranked right here. And then he's sponsoring himself right above that. So, yeah, I mean, and that's a very basic shelf. There's not much to that. Let's check out his pictures. Reversible. I kind of like that. That's kind of a neat little thing. It's not huge. It's only 11 inches. That's very small. Lifestyle pictures you're okay. I mean, that's not bad. The listing isn't horrible. It's a very small item, and it's selling for 30 bucks. This is probably very cheap to make. They're doing really well with this. It's kind of a neat little niche because, I said, the market's not crazy high demand, but it's very, very easy to break into. So, you know, there you go. There's a little item you could launch. Maybe do okay with it. Especially with Halloween coming up, you can make a kind of Halloween-based theme, and then you can switch it up once Halloween's over. So that's something to consider. You can kind of make it into your own seasonal type of product. Let's take a look at what else we can find here. And I realize this video's already going on 24 minutes. I'm just going to do some research here, and you guys can kind of see how I kind of look at things. I usually looking for bigger products. You can actually, there's actually something in product database you can do to actually look for bigger products specifically, but this is kind of my general search criteria. Okay, but that moon, I don't know what the average, what it said the average moon shelf, 112. That's it's not a ton sold, but I bet the margins are really good on that. The search volume was excellent, so really surprised by that. Competition was very low. Flat water bottle. What in the world is that? Like, wow. And let's do a search in. Oh. Really, there's products all over the place here you can find. I guess it's just literally what it says. It's a flat water bottle. I don't know what the advantages of to have, I guess, just easier to fit in to things, maybe. It almost looks like a flask, a clear flask. The reviews are pretty low. The thing about it is, I don't know how I would differentiate myself here. I mean, you can do color, maybe quality, if there was a quality issue. I mean, I haven't looked at the reviews, so I'm not sure if there is a quality issue. Maybe you can make it like a pop-up straw that could come out of there. This one looks like it can almost hang on a keychain or something. I'm not entirely sure. It has like a little hanger, you can hang other stuff on it. So there's definitely people trying to differentiate here. They're obviously not all flat water bottles. It's almost like a water bottle. I mean, they have the nice packaging and everything. It's not a market I would want to get into necessarily, unless you had a clear way to differentiate. And that's what I mean. Like, I don't know what I would do here to differentiate. And you're also competing with probably a lot of keywords that are very hard to compete with. Just out of curiosity, let's look at the numbers here. Actually, I mean, the thing about it is there's so many unrelated ones, but okay, like there you go. They're doing 8 sales a day, and they only have 20 reviews. That's pretty good. I know it says medium demand, high competition, but they're also including people that are bidding on those keywords, but like this has no business being in here, but it's also bidding on that flat water bottle keyword. I mean, if we were to remove that, that would certainly change things. That's not a flat water bottle, but you're going to be competing against them again for the keywords, though. Same with these. So I guess the advantage of the flat water bottle is just you're able to take it around easier. There are a lot of low reviews doing decent. 15, then in 93 reviews, they're doing 15 sales a day. I don't really know how they're differentiating themselves. They're probably one of the first ones in to do this flat water bottle. And maybe the demand for water bottles is just so high that they're making sales. And that's why I really like high revenue markets, because even if the competition is high, you still have a chance of making sales, because there's just so much revenue. There's so many people buying them. So, but then you have the, you know, there you go. They haven't done anything different. Portable, right? They have 10 reviews, but they have 1 sale a day. They have 1 review, no sales, 10 reviews, no sales. See, these don't look any different. There's nothing to these. So, and their price is real low. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not all about, you can't just launch a Me Too product. Meaning you can't just launch a product that everybody else launches. It's very hard to compete that way unless you're one of the first to the market. So, not to beat a dead horse here, there are some people that are successful. Yeah, they're not doing very well. So what I would do here, if I was even interested in looking at this further, I would kind of try to weed out the ones that aren't necessarily related specifically to flat water bottles. Like these ones, they're just not. But still, you'd be bidding on that keyword. The search volume is high because you've got regular water bottles in here that have 1,000 reviews. So I would try to find the water bottles that are selling the best and find out why. So now they have 93 reviews, they're in 15 sales a day. You know, what's so special about that water bottle? Were they one of the first to get there to do that? It's nicely nicely done. They have multiple variations as well. So they have a pink, a white, a gray, and a black. So I'm sure that helps. It's kind of neat because you can kind of put it in your jacket. They kind of show you how you can use it. And that's a big thing too. When you do your pictures, or you have your pictures done, preferably, unless you're really good at photography, show how it's being used. Because if somebody can see themselves like, oh, I see it's in a jacket there, they can see, oh yeah, I have a jacket pocket like that. I can use mine in there. That'd be great. Maybe I can sit on the bus and I can have my water in there. You know, so people can see themselves using it when you have a lifestyle picture like that. And also videos are a new thing that you can do without being brand registered. So that's something you want to get into. I am going to get them done. It's just, I have so much going on right now. It's on the list of things to do. So, there you go. Durable and easy to carry. Ultrasonic knife technology. Diffuse the cask. Whatever the heck that means. And it shows you the size. It's nice to see that. And nice to see people using it in the lifestyle pictures. So, Yeah, you know, and their flat water bottle Amazon's choice, but they have 93 ratings, but they could have gotten that in a month or two. That's how fast you can get these ratings. So it's hard to compete in this type of market. You could brand it better, get great pictures, and maybe compete. But again, it's tough to do. But you could do it. The moon shelf, not a ton of demand, but there's hardly any competition. You could make money there. I would actually try to launch a moon shelf, a really cheap one. That would be a really cheap product you could do. Cork yoga mat. It doesn't have a lot of sales, so I'm not. I put 250 in, so I don't know why we're getting these low. I was doing it by search volume. Jeez. So that's the top of the market, I guess. So you probably would want to put in a 300 search or something like that at least. Nitpicks. You can't get a lock picking. I don't know what that is. Nitpicks. Nitpicks. To like pick out knitting maybe? I don't know what a nitpick is. I don't do any sewing or anything. So I guess that's what a nitpick is. It must be this little thing that picks the knitting out, I guess. I guess you could do like a nitpicking kit, which is kind of neat, I guess. Nitpick. There you go. So you can grab, I've seen those before. So, you know, if we look at the monthly sales are pretty good, but it's also an extremely small item, so that's probably why it sells so much. Yeah, so nitpick option interchangeable. Wow, $60 for some nitpick in a needle set. But the reviews are very high here, of course. That's something that's yarn ball winder. It's nothing to do with what we're looking at. Again, you cannot always trust these numbers up here. Actually, you almost never can. So a lot of this stuff is just related to knitting. Here we go. So we've got somebody doing, well, they have the word nitpicks in there, but that's just yarn. I don't know if that's a brand name they're using. Huh. So like 6 sales. I don't know. It's not something I'd be interested in doing. It's too small. But there is stuff literally everywhere around here. Small balm. Night golf balls. That's kind of going out. Wood crates for display. That's a lot to. That's probably not the main keyword. Wood crates for display. So like non-functional wood crates maybe? Like, yeah, that's kind of neat. Okay, so this is more along the artsy type of stuff. I mean, you've got ones with a chalkboard on them. They're kind of the rustic look. Yeah, very cool. You know, you can put stuff kind of in them, like books or whatnot. Kind of make a room or stage an area. So, you know, you would kind of want to create your own type of design. Let's see how the numbers look. Okay, so, you know, 64, they're doing 10 sales. Well, that says 8. They're doing 18 sales at 254. There's some doing a lot of sales, but they have a decent amount of reviews. They have 20 reviews, doing 6 sales a day. So if you could kind of find out what is selling here and why. Some of their ratings are really bad too. I mean, they do 29 sales and they have a 3 rating. Like, that's absolutely horrible. So try to find out what the complaints are about it. That's what I would start doing. It's not a super high demand market. I don't see a ton of sales for a lot of this stuff. Some do have over 250, 300 sales, but usually the ones that have high reviews. But they're doing decent, 64 reviews. They're doing 315 sales a month. That's what I like to see. They're doing good. They have good ratings. They have some nice pictures here. They show it being used, which again, that's kind of what you want to do. And different configurations. Like, that's really nice. I like the look of that a lot. And there you go. So they're showing more examples. They're showing you can be split into 3, put together, like on the side. You can put them all kinds of different ways. I think people really like to see that because it helps them envision that in their home. Plus, it's got great ratings. It must be well made. They could use a little work on the listing, but overall, the pictures are decent. I like how they've showed it. They're kind of up and down, up and down. This is something that I would think would sell year long. If we take a look at all time, so it sells for a decent buck too. I mean, it's up and down. Looks like they might have run out of stock, run out of stock, run out of stock. Finally got in stock and kind of stayed there. So that's what I think the big thing was. I think they've just run out of stock a bunch of times. So it's really in demand. They have great pictures. It really shows a nice way to use it. Yeah, I really like the listing, but there's multiple people selling it. Anyway, yeah, it's not bad. You know, this is a decent looking listing. There could be some more stuff in there, especially in the bullet points. But you can see there's a lot of stuff just like it. It's got to be hard to differentiate yourself in some respect, but the reviews aren't super high. And I think if you find the right listing within this niche, you could do well. So kind of more of an artsy. That looks like more, you could even do like a pet one. I think that would be cool. For some reason this reminds me of that, even though it's just a love one. But kind of neat. So anyway guys, that's just an idea of how I kind of go through product research. It takes a lot of time. You know, it takes a lot of looking, and you will find something. I think we just found a couple of things we could launch right there, especially like in the artsier category, which isn't really my thing, but I would be even interested in launching some of that stuff if I did more research and find out the issues that people are having, find out what's selling well, what has sales, what are doing 250, 300 sales with low reviews, and why. Why do you think that is? What's the theme in there that they're doing well? Is it their listing? Is it their lifestyle pictures? Is it their quality and everything above? Is it they have great pictures and great branding? So you have to look at those things, or do they have a great differentiation, which in this case wasn't so much differentiation as it was just the look of it. That is the differentiation, and the branding is the differentiation. That can be the case. I tend to like things that are bundled, but I'm not limited to not trying something like that either. You really have to do a lot of research. Once you find something that interests you, do a lot of research on that product and see what you can come up with. And if you feel like you're confident in it enough, I'd say if you're 70%, 65% confident in it, give it a shot, especially if it's a low item that it's not going to cost you a ton. Give it a shot. You know, you have to try in order to succeed here. So I hope this helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, please hit me up. I will be doing some videos in the future on taxes. That's always a fun topic. I think I understand them very well at this point, but there's different ways to approach it. I am not an accountant or a lawyer, so I cannot tell you how to do that, but I'll tell you my experience with it. So anyway, guys, have a great night, and God bless everybody.